be seated. Mr. Patel, you may proceed.
So you actually expect this jury to believe that story?
That is the story.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
That's the whole truth.
Yes, sir.
That's what actually happened.
Yes, sir.
I mean, because I guess I was amazed by the last piece of information that after you dump the body parts, he opens the glove box and pulls the title out and has the presence of mind to say to you, we got to give this car to Mother Waddles, we got to change the title.
Sir, he had me call the day before and said the Mother Waddles thing.
You got to keep your voice up, because if I can't hear you here, I know he can't hear you.
Mother Waddles was called the day before.
But then you didn't say that You didn't say that. You just simply said, right now, he opened the title, he opened the glove box, saw the title, and that's when he said to you, we have to go to Secretary of State. Don't change the facts on me, okay? I just heard it. I wrote it down. Is the story so flexible that you're going to make stuff up as we go along?
Are you done?
Oh, I'm just getting started.
I just mean for right now, sir. I had to call Mother Waddles the day before. I did it per his instructions. This was 5 days of horror.
Let's stop with the 5 days of horror. I want to answer this question, okay? You had your chance on direct to repeat that over and over and over, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, okay? Because I'll ask another question. Why did he let you live?
I asked my question.
Why did he let you live?
I asked myself, you don't think I'd rather be gone and my son here?
Well, I mean, that's just it. I read the papers on Friday. A tornado blows through Kansas. This young couple who live in a mobile home sacrificed their lives to save their 18-month-old child. And here, you do absolutely nothing to save your son Jason, to save the nieces and nephews who sit here with these fake tears crying over, okay? When you say a few minutes ago that you're 61, you have nothing else to live for, they have their whole lives ahead of them, then why don't you sacrifice yourself? Why don't you take a chance? Why don't you do something?
Tell me what you wanted me to do, Mr.
I'll tell you what, he's in the car when you're at the police station hiding in the back of your Ford Escape. Why don't you go to Officer Mason and say, Officer, the guy, the killer, the intruder, is in the back seat of my car. He just murdered my son in cold blood. He put me in handcuffs. He beat me. He chained me to my bed. And he's in your parking lot. Please help me. As opposed to, I want to file a missing persons report.
Your Honor, I have an objection. That was not any question that I could ascertain.
Your objection is sustained. Restate it, Mr. Talbot.
You indicated we drove around. We drove to Lowe's. We drove to the probation department. We drove to State Farm. He's in the car with you Monday morning.
Yes, sir. He was not in the car at the police station.
Oh, so we take him out. But didn't you say before that he was in the car at the police station?
I do not think so. If I did, it was misspeaking.
Just another mistake, okay.
Sir, I didn't want to testify. I'm going to be confused. I'm going to misspeak.
Well, you didn't want to testify? You had a right not to testify, and you're up here testifying. I get a right to ask you questions, whether you like them or not. So let's keep going, okay? Because here we are. You're at the police station. One time you say he's in the car. The next time you say, now you're saying he's not in the car. Okay.
I do not remember saying he was in the car at the police station.
Huh?
I do not remember saying he was in the car at the police station.
Okay. So it's convenient. This is one of those flexible things. He's in the car at Lowe's, and he's in the car. I mean, when we go to State Farm, and so you must have driven in. I mean, you go to Lowe's at 8, you drive back, drop him off at the house, you drive to the police station, you go back and pick him up, and then you take him to State Farm. Is that what we're telling us now?
I can't stop listening to you for a minute. I said in my statement, he was in the car when I told you. The only places that he was not in the car was at the police station.
But that's convenient. Do you see how convenient that is and why it doesn't make sense?
None of this was convenient. None.
Well, but none of it makes sense either, right? I mean, you want this jury to believe he gets in the car with you, goes, you drop him back off. Because what I can't believe is this, that you lived with the murderer of your son for 5 days.
Objection to what counsel can believe. Please instruct him to make his questions in proper question form, Your Honor.
I'm going to sustain your objection. You may proceed, Mr. Cataldo.
How is it that you lived with your murderer for 5 days, with the murderer of your son for 5 days? Help me understand.
How is it?
Yeah.
It was with Xanax shoved in my mouth every night.
I know. Okay, let's deal with that. Let's deal with that. Because why does he handcuff you and gag you at night and let you out during the day?
Let me correct whatever I didn't clarify.
Oh, yeah, yes,
the
go.
only time I was out was when he either handed me the phone or had me do something.
Well, wait a minute. You're socializing with your family on Wednesday night. You bought, let me finish, you bought the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
You went over to the house with dinner. You took a bath over there. You're going to tell this jury now, he was in the car the whole time. I was in my in-laws' house.
Object to the
he was
form of the
not.
question, Your Honor.
What's your objection?
There wasn't a question. Counsel is launching into a diatribe of what he thinks happened and what he believes and what he thought he heard. He has to ask questions.
I actually perceived the question in that I'll allow the witness to answer. Your objection is overruled.
Okay. When he saw that to-do note of mine, he said you're going to do what you do naturally or usually. And that's what one of those things was. Go by my in-laws, check on my in-laws, KFC. He came in, told me go over there, don't be stupid. And I did. And Wednesday night, I did ask to take a shower.
Because Ramsay was in the bathtub.
Yes, sir.
I mean, this is what I'm asking you.
This is horrible. You're right.
Oh, but I think the statement you're making is horrible. Ramsay's murder was horrible too. But you're saying that you got a free pass every so. Do you know what the Stockholm Syndrome is?
No.
Do you know who Patty Hearst is?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know Patty Hearst had the Stockholm Syndrome because she fell into the same belief pattern after 9 or 12 months as her captors? Did you have the Stockholm Syndrome after just a day, day and a half with this murderer?
That has not been diagnosed for me, no.
Okay. How is it that you're so loyal to him?
I don't understand your question, nor do I know how to respond to that.
How is it that you were so afraid of him then, and 16 months later, you're not afraid of him anymore?
I never said I wasn't afraid of him.
So you're not afraid of him now, you're testifying.
No, I'm still afraid of him.
Okay. But now you're not afraid for Jason and the nieces anymore, and the nephews.
Do you see my son Jason here?
Hell, I haven't seen him since this case started, okay? He won't even return my calls.
Got that right.
Right, because he doesn't like you. And he thinks something else happened.
And he verbally told you that?
Not me, but through somebody else, yeah.
We're going with hearsay?
Oh, yeah, your whole testimony has been hearsay, okay? Don't talk to me about hearsay.
Your Honor, this is argumentative.
It is. Your objection is sustained. Pose a question, Mr. Cataldo. Don't argue with the witness.
I told my son Jason
Ma'am,
not
wait for
come
a
back to
question.
Michigan.
Oh, no, let her talk.
Wait for a question.
All right.
See, you were picked up on the night of January 31st of 2014. You spoke to the police for 2 hours that night. You didn't tell them this story, did you?
No, sir.
You didn't tell them you were held hostage. I mean, was it really hostage because you kind of got a free pass a lot of times? But you didn't tell them
I
that.
think having a gun pointed to your head, kicked, beat, I think slapped. Seeing your son dead and dismembered. I think hostage would be the right word.
I think foolish would be the right word, because you were at the police station when he was at the house, and you could have told the police officers right there, hey, I'm being held hostage, this guy's in my condo, and he's with my son that he murdered. Please help me. Do you think they would? Is your testimony that you believe Officer Drulia, the whole St. Clair Shores Police Department would have thought that you were a kook?
I'm glad you brought that up. My son went to St. Clair Shores Police Department several times.
Keep your voice up. He needs to hear this answer.
My son went to St. Clair Shores Police Department several times. Any mental illness he had does not negate the fact that they should have followed up in some manner. I have no faith in them. I called them, I believe it was around May 10th, 2013, with my son having suicide thoughts, begged them to help me get him into the hospital because I didn't think I had the skills to help him. They did not do it. I do not have faith in them, and as far as Detective Ed is, I can count 4 people that she should have investigated, aside from me and my son, that were not investigated. I do not have any faith. I did not have any faith at that time. And Officer Mason did say that he knew that Ramsay had been in there before.
You're facing the most serious charge in American law. First-degree murder.
I'm the most hated woman in America right now.
What?
According to your media, according to what I've read, I'm the most hated woman in America right now.
Well,
and I believe I was told by somebody.
That begs for a comment, but I'm not going to give you one, okay? I want to know why you're willing to stand here and face first-degree murder charges and let this other guy go.
I'm not.
We had to wait 16 months to hear this story about this intruder. Don't you believe, had you given the information earlier, we may have had a chance to go out and arrest him? Is your faith in the police department so lacking that you're going to let a murderer get away with it and you're going to take the rap?
The night that Detective Ed walked me to the holding cell.
Keep your voice up, please.
The night that I was walked to the holding cell, I was pretty crazed. But I do remember asking, can you please talk to me tomorrow afternoon? And I got no response.
Well, wasn't there a reason you got...
I asked
there wasn't...
my first attorney to please let me talk to them and do a polygraph test.
You invoke Miranda. We can't talk to you after you say that. That's why we don't come to you the next day and ask those questions.
You asked me why I didn't say anything.
Then,
I answered your question.
But you would have thought... Hold on. You saw this guy physically for 5 days?
On and off.
You heard his voice?
Yes, I did.
You heard his voice for 5 days? You knew how he walked for 5 days?
Yes, sir.
You knew that he knew Ramsay?
Yes, sir.
You knew that he knew who you were?
Yes, sir.
You knew that what he said was he was a friend of Frank Werner's because he said to you, because of what Ramsay did, everybody thinks we're assholes.
Yes, sir.
Do you not think that that information would have been helpful in trying to figure out who this guy is?
Sir, again.
Is that a yes or a no? I mean,
I tried to ask to talk to somebody Saturday afternoon, and by the way, by Saturday afternoon, I was in St. John Hospital.
Forget Saturday. I know, you went to the hospital, you were feeling ill, I would assume chest compressions after what just happened, because after all, this is not particularly usual.
I think you missed 2 days of IV antibiotics for severe urinary tract infection from being dehydrated for 5 days.
Yep.
Do you know what kind of criteria it takes to have somebody in the hospital 2 days anymore?
Do you know how
for a urinary tract infection?
Do you know how hard it must have been for you to use that little saw to cut your son up?
Sir, if I use anything, a saw, a knife, anything, that very, very thorough trained nurse scraped every area of me, scraped my fingernails, cut them, my hair, my swabs, everything. I do not remember saying to refuse to say anything, but that's irrelevant. I do not remember saying that I had 2 showers because the only bath I had that week was at my mother-in-law's on Wednesday night. Irregardless, you have technology and equipment that can detect blood after cleaning it. If there was something on me, if I did what you said, some of it would have showed on Ramsay, some of me would have showed on Ramsay, some of him would have showed on me. And you didn't bag and tag my clothes or anything.
Why are you so concerned about the technology, about what we could have found in
Because
terms?
you're
Let me
accusing
finish,
me of
please.
something.
Why are you so concerned about technology that would help us find evidence on you when you're absolutely unconcerned with all the technology that could be used that could actually find this guy, allegedly, that killed your son?
I've already answered your question on that.
So you're going to refuse to answer that question again?
I don't have faith. I was afraid for my nieces and nephews, sir. That's it.
You don't have faith. You have so little faith in the police department that when you're there, that you don't think they would believe you? I mean, you're over here with all these tears and all these expressions and all this stuff, all this angst. You don't think if you walked into that police station, these jurors saw the credibility of Officer Mason. If you had walked in with that same expression and that same fear and that same intensity, you think they would have just blown you off?
I believe I've already answered it.
Well, I don't believe that you have. Let's answer this question.
Okay.
Do you believe that they would have blown you off in that full circumstance?
Sir, I didn't take that chance. I acted out of fear, and I don't want any more.
Do you believe that they would have blown you off?
I don't know. I don't believe they would have, no. I don't believe I did not tell him. And I would not tell him again.
I'm kind of humored by the pizza thing. Well, how did that all sort of stick in? I mean, because if he's in the house and you order him a pizza, Tim's leaving, pizza guy's coming up to deliver a pizza, and again, isn't this where you would sacrifice for your son? Wouldn't you run out? Wouldn't you tell? Isn't that what you're Mother of the Year according to all of your character witnesses? Where is Mother of the Year when she's going to sacrifice to protect Jason?
All right, which question do you want me to answer? About the pizza?
Yeah, let's go with that one. Because you see, you're not in tears anymore. You're so angry at me. I love it. You're keeping your voice up. Let's keep going.
I was asked today to please keep my voice up.
All right.
I'm keeping my voice up.
Well, that's the first right, I guess.
Your Honor, I object to the editorial comment. Counsel.
Your objection is sustained. The jury is to disregard Mr. Cataldo's last comment.
Start with the pizza. I'm all ears.
I'm fixing to talk. I don't know the whys and why not of any of this. I wish I did. He said he was hungry to get something. There was a pizza receipt sitting there. I called and ordered. When the pizza man came, it was right after Tim had been over. And when Tim was over, the guy had just got me, was standing behind that partially open door Tim talked about with a gun. The pizza man came. I didn't even get to eat that pizza, trust me.
All right. And my next question is, where's Mother of the Year in terms of what you would do to sacrifice for your nieces, nephews, and your children?
I don't understand. What do you mean, who's Mother of the Year?
So
I'm not Mother of the Year.
Right.
I have multiple problems.
So, I can't comment on that. What I'm saying to you is you didn't sacrifice for them.
I don't understand the question.
You didn't sacrifice yourself for your family like most parents would do. If somebody were threatening my son and they'd already murdered my other son, I would do everything in my power to make certain it doesn't happen again.
Ditto.
Whether that was putting them in the car, going 100 miles an hour and hitting a wall. I do that. He's in the car. You're driving all over southeast Michigan. You do nothing to stop him.
Object to the
So
argument.
my question is... Sorry, Mark.
Your objection is sustained. Restate your question.
Did you think to yourself, I should drive into a wall while I have him in the car so I can stop him?
I don't remember thinking that.
I saw the BP photographs. You say he's in the car. You were in the middle of nowhere. Do you think that Erica Matthews, the cashier at BP, she would give you as little credibility as you say the police officers gave you if you were to say to her, there's a man in my car with body parts of my son. I'm afraid for my life. Can you call the police? I'm going to make a right on this road. I'm going to go straight up this road, and you can find me there. Did you say that?
I didn't say anything.
You had the power in your hands to have him arrested, to have him face the charges of murdering your son. You did nothing at that time at the BP gas station, right?
I'm not going to answer that. I think I did everything to protect the rest of my family. I did exactly what he told me to do, when he told me to do it. That's the only thing I know.
So I guess I would ask you this, why are we here 16 months later and you're still sacrificing for the man who murdered your son?
Well, I'll tell you what kind of woke me up, because...
This woke you up 16 months later?
You want to let me finish? I don't think you heard me, maybe. But,
Oh, I'm hearing you.
so... I got arrested. I got put in holding cell, and the same nurse did all the scraping. I went to another holding cell.
But that wasn't my question, okay?
I'm getting to your question.
But then let's get to the answer. We've heard the same crap. We've heard the technology crap. We've heard the, I couldn't talk right when I had a chance to talk to the police officers for 2 hours because I guess I wasn't mentally ready to tell the police who the murderer was. So let's get to why are we here 16 months later. We're past all of that.
I got put in mental health and was there 8 months. I sat there in a 24-hour lockdown, and you get an hour out, and I was sitting at a table, and a young girl came up and introduced herself, and she said, "Wake the fuck up. Nobody is going to fight for Ramsay if you don't." And she told me she remembered my son had changed on the road. And she told me numerous things about
Oh, stop with that. Come on.
And she told me she remembered when I used to bring him on pizza. And she said, "Wake the fuck up, Miss Scrivo."
Oh, wait. Where did this person approach you and say that?
I'm in mental health at Macomb County Jail, sitting in the stupid little one table that we have on my hour out.
So the police couldn't get you to do it for 2 hours, so this stranger at the jail comes in and swears at you, and that's enough to make you realize this whole thing has been a lie that you've lived for all this time?
I told you, sir, I asked my first attorney to please let me talk to the police again. I asked to please take a polygraph test. And he told me it was his advice not to.
Okay, well we
I
can't.
don't have
I don't want
a
to.
choice
We
to
can't
do.
deal with that stuff. I can't deal
Why
with the
can you not?
information that you and your attorney spoke to. That's privilege. So what you're essentially saying is, the original attorney wasn't Mr. Haddad. All this other one it was another guy named Eli Mulwad, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because Mr. Haddad's been nothing but straightforward since he took over this case.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Now, so you're saying that we had to wait all this time, that you didn't make any effort to contact the police yourself to tell them this story.
I guess you're right. And 8 months in the mental health ward didn't help.
Okay.
I did give up.
Yes. I guess, would you explain a little bit further how this person knew so much about your insurance policies with State Farm? That struck
I'm
me.
sorry, you didn't hear that? Okay.
Oh, I heard it. I just don't understand it.
Then I'll clarify it for you. That Monday, I saw some dumb note of mine that said, "Must do Monday." And on there it said, "Sign the exclusion form." I think they went over that my oldest son was in Louisiana, and he had a truck stolen. And when he went to try and get the rental car, they said, no, that I needed to sign that exclusion form taking Ramsay off the policy before they would authorize him a rental car. So my son's out of state, so that was on my to-do list for Monday. And when he asked me, I told him. And when he asked me about what does this donate the focus mean, I told him the focuses are running. The condo association asked me to move it. It's not running. I'm going to donate it. That's where all that mess came in.
Don't you think that that's really a lot of stuff to be thinking about after he's murdered your son?
Oh my God, yes.
I didn't think you would take that as a serious question. Okay. Then he's actually really like he's on the ball with this whole thing, all right? I mean, he's looking at your life, he's looking at your insurance, he's looking at your Xanax, he's looking at all of the possibilities. He's living with you for a week, he's gagging you at night, and he has the time and the wherewithal to look at all of the notes in your house and come up with those details.
I don't know what you want me to say. The note was right on my pocket. Believe me, I don't know what to say with it.
Well, let's move on to something else for a second. The Xanax. First thing you did Friday when you got up and testified was to give testimony that was inconsistent then with the numbers that we had proposed to the jury on direct, and that was you had that prescription for a significant period of time, 3 pills a day max. You indicate you're taking 4 pills a day, which would almost eliminate the full bottle. Then you tell this jury that this guy's got enough time to come into your house, knock out Ramsay, go upstairs, find the Xanax in your room, find the bleach, find the Coke, and put it all together. So my question is, if you used up all the Xanax, how does he find the Xanax in your room?
I can't answer all those questions because I don't know his mind, but I can answer some of it. It's a 2-bedroom condo. The bedrooms are right one by each other. I did not say I took 4 every day. I said some days at night I did take 2 when I should have taken 1. When you go up the stairs, you can see right into my bedroom or right into Ramsay's bedroom. All I thought about, my Xanax bottles were on my windowsill by the bed. They were in full sight. That's all I thought about. I don't truly know his mind or his thinking.
Well, you're a nurse, so you have some understanding. How much bleach and Xanax would you have to drink to get to 400 nanograms?
I'm glad you said nanograms this time because you've said milligrams a couple times.
I did,
It's
and I'm not a chemist.
And
I do cross-examination.
I have no idea, sir.
Because, see, Dr. Spitz didn't testify that there were any burn marks on his throat, which was clearly what would happen if you drank bleach. So
I never said I saw him drink that.
Oh,
I said I told you what he told me.
Oh, he told you that.
That's what I said. I never saw that.
Okay.
I came in after the fact, sir.
Because you'd have to admit, drinking bleach and Xanax. Well, but you believed everything else he said. Why wouldn't you believe this?
I don't know how to respond to that, sir.
So let's look at the number of lies that you told. You lied to Tim Treppa on Sunday morning. Yes?
With the gun pointed to me, I did.
Yes, with that gun right at your head because he sees you standing completely in the door and some
No,
schmuck.
Tim Treppa
and so there's...
testified that the door was partially open.
Okay. So you and he disagree with how far open the door was. His testimony is we got a pretty good look at you. Somebody didn't see a gun to your head. But you want them to believe that, that's fine. You lied to him is my question.
Yes, I did.
You lied to Allison that day.
Yes, I did.
You lied to Carolyn that day.
Yes, I did.
You lied to your mother-in-law that day.
Yes, I did.
You lied to Corey Toller the next day.
Yes, I did.
You lied to Officer Joe Mason.
Yes.
You lied to Detective Ike.
Yes.
You lied to Detective Rickard.
Yes.
You lied to Detective Rude.
Yes, sir.
You lied to all 3 of the Lowe's employees.
I don't believe they, well, whatever, okay.
Well, I mean, look, chopping up a body is not a household project, is it?
Okay.
So you lied to them.
Yes.
I'm just kind of curious. Why do you think it was so important he was hiding in the back seat of the car at Lowe's when he didn't go into Lowe's?
I don't think I said it was important. I told you what happened.
Well, but you said he was lying down in the back seat of your Ford Escape when you drove into Lowe's.
I told you what happened. I don't know what your question is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have security video inside, not outside. So why is it important that he's not seen in the car as you're driving out when you're the one that goes in to make the saw purchase?
I don't think it is important. I am not still sure what the point is, but I don't think it is important. I just told you what happened.
All right. But you lied to all 3 of those employees the 3 times that you were there.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I wasn't there. I'm just assuming it. I'm asking you, did you lie to them?
I do not remember the verbatim conversations. The people at Lowe's were very nice.
Well,
and I'm not going to go into what they said.
And I guess that brings me to another question, and that's the notes. When my neighbor was murdered and my father died, I remembered absolutely every detail because it was that important in my life. Your son is murdered before your eyes. Technically, you claim to be in the next room. And you needed your notes on Friday to help you remember. What is it about those notes that wouldn't have been burned into your memory?
They are. When you asked me not to bring them, you don't see any notes. I wasn't even sure I should take them. I don't have anything left. I have post-traumatic stress syndrome that was complicated by this. I already had it.
Okay, so what?
Wait, let me
Hold
finish.
on.
Okay, go ahead. Go
Those are all excuses and rationalizations for whatever behavior. I'm asking you
I don't
if...
need the notes. I got flustered.
But why would you have gotten...
Notes. I write notes. No, let me finish for one time.
Okay.
That's all I have. I don't have a house anymore. I journal 2 and 3 times a day.
Well, who's doing is
When
this?
you take me
Who's doing is
to
all that?
medical, I write notes. When I'm put in that holding cell at 5 o'clock in the morning to wait for it, I write notes. That's all I have left. My mom died 1 year. My husband died. My son was hospitalized.
Well,
Let me
wait.
finish the house.
Oh, no. I don't like to let you go on soliloquy. No.
I don't even know where my husband's ashes are. That's all I have. And yes, I carry around those dumb notes and this dumb pencil. And I write notes and I journal. And that's my, I don't know, security blanket. It's dumb. I don't need it. I got flustered Friday. And I put whatever that legal pad, ask them. I've ordered a legal pad every week. I've been able to order commissary there. That's all I have anymore. Everything in my life's gone.
Are you done?
I'm done, sir.
Why did you need your notes when you shouldn't have had to think about it? Because to me it seems if you need notes, it means you need to keep your story or your mistruths in order. That's what it seems to me. Explain to me why I'm wrong.
I think I just did. If it seemed that way, I take accountability. It was not that way. I don't need those. I don't need that timeline. I don't need anything. That's burned in my memory. I think about that every day. I think about it every second of every minute and every minute of every hour of every day.
This hospitalization of Ramsay's, Stan dies. You say Ramsay's suicidal. With your permission, they run him into the hospital immediately because he could hurt himself. You fill out all the paperwork, and you say he's suicidal. You have him committed. Immediately after that, you move to get guardianship. He's released, you have guardianship. January 25th, he's brutally murdered. And you don't go to the police. You don't go anywhere. We wait 16 months to hear his story. What was it that his health was so important in May of 2013, and his death isn't important to you in January of 2014?
I've already answered this question, sir.
Is what?
I've already answered your question.
So you don't want to answer it? I mean, I don't care whether you answer it. They need the information. If you don't want to give it to them, this is for your benefit. If you don't want to participate, you can just tell me to shut up.
No, sir.
I don't think I will.
As I've said, I'm 61 years old. My nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews are young and still have their life.
And you didn't sacrifice for them. That was my point that you wouldn't
Oh,
answer
I did
before. A
sacrifice
real
for them.
person would have sacrificed for them, would have gone to the police, or would have called them up and say, hey, this is your aunt. Someone's here to murder you. Don't go to work at El Charo today. Don't go to school today. Did you not trust their parents to protect them?
I trusted the guy who was holding the gun to my head.
Huh?
I trusted the man who was holding a gun to my head to
So you-
murder and cut up and cut their heads
Yeah.
off like they did Ramsay.
So you don't trust your son, you don't trust your nephews. You don't trust your sisters and their husbands and the parents of these children to do a better job protecting their kids than you did yours.
Sir, I only did what I thought was the right thing to do out of fear and shock.
So that the right
Let
thing
me
to...
just say this. I would do it for each one of my nephews, collectively or individually. I would do it for your children.
Oh, I wouldn't
And
want you
can
anywhere
bet
near
I would
my
do it for
children,
Jason.
okay? Let's start with that premise, all right?
I thought I did the right thing. You can't possibly know what happened or what I went through. If you thought you were there, then go multiply it by infinity and you still wouldn't be at that horror.
I know myself enough
I did
that I would
everything.
trust the police to help with saving the lives of innocent people. Even if Ramsay was dead, they would save the lives of innocent people. Your son's in New Orleans. You don't even bother to call him in New Orleans and tell him there's a threat on your life. And you can't tell this jury that there wasn't a significant period of time where you were away from him with your own phone or to be able to borrow somebody else's phone to warn everybody. Can you? Can you say that?
I told you what I did.
So, at the end of it all, he's lived with you for 5 days, he's murdered your son, he's gagged you, he's handcuffed you, and then you want them to believe that he says to you, you know, I'm leaving now, I'm gone, you better leave the country and go to the airport. That's what he says to you.
I thought I was supposed to tell you what happened and what we said.
Well, I was hoping for something more realistic. Is that as realistic as we're going to get?
That's what happened.
That's what happened. And you're here in his place because you're going to continue to sacrifice for your family.
I wish I wasn't here in his place. I would much rather be dead and my son be here.
Where's Ramsay's right arm?
Sir, I don't know.
Where's the dark jacket that you were wearing that day in all those videos?
I don't know, sir.
Whose are the female clothes that we found in all the items that were burnt? Because you're not going to tell me this guy put on your clothing, right? He put on women's clothing to do the dirty work?
What I saw in your pictures, that red thing looks like a Christmas nightgown of mine. It was hanging in the bathroom.
So he grabbed your clothes to do the deed.
I don't know that, sir. You asked me if I recognized anything, and I told you.
Well, I mean, you either recognize that shirt or you don't.
I said that I did.
Okay, so what you're telling the jury then is you weren't wearing that shirt. He was either wearing that shirt or he was using that shirt.
I don't know what he was doing. I know what I saw in your picture.
You were so proud on Friday to tell us that the Carhartt jacket was Dan's and that maybe, Ramsay had a different Carhartt jacket. Does it really make a damn bit of difference since you lied to the police about him wearing a Carhartt jacket in the beginning?
Sir, none of that makes any difference. A lot of what went on in the last 5 days were details that had to be brought out, I suppose.
Well, but wait. You had to formulate a story for the police. So you said he was in the pajama bottoms and a top and a Carhartt jacket. Are you denying that you wrote in your own handwriting on our very first exhibit, Carhartt jacket?
I'm not denying that Ramsay had a Carhartt jacket.
But did you see the exhibit with your handwriting where you wrote Carhartt jacket? Or did you forget about that because it's one of those numerous details that just simply... Would you find that exhibit for me, please? I'm going to show her
wrote.
own.
I'm sure I said Carhartt jacket.
Oh, but you wrote Carhartt jacket also.
Okay.
No, that's not okay.
I didn't hear a question.
Do you not believe me that you wrote Carhartt jacket on that form?
I believe you.
Okay. So are you just believing me because you believe me, or was this whole week such a blur that even if I showed you your handwriting, you wouldn't say, I remember doing this?
I remember saying Carhartt jacket, sir.
Okay. Do you remember writing Carhartt jacket?
If it's in my handwriting, sir, I wrote it.
So then do you understand my I guess, question that you claim that that's Dan's jacket when in fact you lied to the police about him even wearing a jacket?
Sir, they have multiple ones of these.
Multiple what?
Multiple Carhartt jackets in my handwriting.
Then now I'm going to show you people's. I need the exhibit number. You have it on the list, you write it for. For the record, I will indicate what that number is in a few minutes. I just want to hand you the document and ask you, see, right there where it says...
This is my handwriting.
Right, but it says Carhartt, right?
Carhartt.
Correct. So I guess my point is...
I said it was my handwriting the other day when you showed it.
Huh?
I said it was my handwriting the other day.
I guess the point is that you make a point that he doesn't own one, that that was Dan's, but the whole thing was a ruse to show...
I never said he didn't own one.
Okay.
Sir, I never said he didn't own one.
The whole thing is a ruse.
I believe I said quite a few times there were multiple Carhartt jackets.
Right. But I guess my point is, you said that's not his jacket, the police got that wrong, when in fact what you're saying now is he never left the house, he was murdered in the house, Carhartt jacket, be damned, he wasn't wearing one because he was murdered in the house without a Carhartt jacket.
Did I say or did you?
No, I'm saying it because it's just so inconsistent with the facts that we're dealing with here.
No, it is not.
Okay. So his not wearing a Carhartt jacket is consistent.
Sir, my son was murdered in his own room. That's a form.
Huh?
My son was murdered in his own bedroom. I'm not understanding about the Carhartt jacket business.
You don't get the hypocrisy in the pride that you took in trying to shove down the people's throat that on Friday he didn't have. That wasn't his Carhartt jacket that I introduced, when it was in fact you're the one who said Carhartt jacket. That's all I'm pointing out.
Okay.
How long were you downstairs doing laundry by hand that this guy was able to get into your house, knock Ramsay out, find the dope, do all those other things before you came upstairs? I mean...
I don't do laundry by hand.
Okay.
I was down there a while.
I mean, how does...
A basement, a main floor, and an upstairs.
We heard Dr. Spitz indicate that at 400 nanograms, it's lethal. That he'd likely be comatose, unconscious, unable to speak. How is it that you could hear him speak after he had that much Xanax in his system?
Sir, are you real sure Dr. Smith said lethal, or did he say toxic starts at 350?
He said both.
All right. Irregardless.
There's no such word as irregardless. It's just that irritates me. Regardless. Just use the
Does
word
it irritate
regardless,
you?
okay?
Okay. Okay, what was your question? Did I hear Ramsay speak? I heard Ramsay speak when he asked him, what the hell are you doing? And then I heard him speak right before I didn't hear him speak anymore. And he said he couldn't breathe. And he called for Jason. And that's the last I heard Ramsay speak.
And I guess as this myriad of things are going on in this first day, this intruder, this killer, sees this small sober link device, and he actually knows what it is and asks you about it, then asks you to call probation. I mean, I find that incredible. Explain to me why that's not incredible.
I don't have to explain why it's not incredible. I'm explaining and saying that it happened. I don't know if he knew what that was or not. He picked it up, was waving it around, yelling at me.
I mean, your name,
He told me that he thought
your insurance,
he was through with.
soberly, probation, the car title. This guy knew everything about you. He knew your name.
He knew Mich Scrivo. He said Mich Scrivo.
Right, so it's like, you don't think that's enough to help the police? You have so lack of faith in the police that none of this was important enough to maybe help them find who this guy is?
I'm going to say this again. What I did was out of shock and fear. I did factor in that I don't really have a lot of faith in him, but I did this out of fear for my other family.
But actually, there were some reasons for you to kill Ramsay. You'd started a new relationship in Dallas with somebody that you rekindled this thing with when you went down to your class reunion sometime in 2013 or 2000.
No.
No?
No.
But you told the police that dealing with Ramsay was so difficult. You said it the other day, Friday. He has to blow 4 times. He has to go in for tests. He's on probation. He's got the paranoia. He's got the doctor's appointments. All of these things seem certainly that they must have been very stressful for you. If he's gone, you get to start over again. You get to leave here. You get to go down there, and it's clear.
Let me make this clear. My husband was the love of my life. There was nobody else. My son and my other son, Jason.
The estranged one.
Go ahead.
Okay?
They're it. They're all I ever wanted. Ramsay was not.
That's why I'm...
What was difficult, we were both in Christian depression. There's no question as to who would have helped him except me. As much as I love my sister Allison that got up here and trashed me, she doesn't financially nor emotionally have the time to be a guardian. She's never been to my son's house except twice to check and see if her married boyfriend could live there. In all the years that he lived there, she hasn't. She's had conversation with Ramsay when he's been erratic. He does multiple things around her house. That's the only time she sees him other than family events.
This sounds like stress to me.
But I'm the only one that on a day-to-day basis would help them with the sober link.
This sounds like stress, right? Because you said there's no stress, but all of a sudden I'm hearing stress.
No,
stress.
no, I don't think I said there was no stress. He's going through a difficult time, and it's hardest on the individual. It's not hardest on the other people. Trust me, when you're only half with your thought processes, it's hardest on you. And he needs somebody every day. And I wish that I could show you the letter he wrote me Christmas. We were leaning on each other to get through this, but we were getting through this.
It was financially hard. He's not working. Your husband's dead. You got 2 houses to support. That's got to be some stress.
You guys searched my home several times. Did you not find my W-2s? I make a good living. Working between January 1st and August when my company closed down, I made over $105,000. I live within my means. I didn't want my husband to be working anymore. My son not working, I can take care of him. Being his guardian gave me no access to anything financial.
With all this extra money, did you hire this killer to come in and do this,
What
or did you do it
extra
yourself?
money? That's what I made.
Okay.
That's what I made
All
in
right.
my job, and I work very hard.
All right.
I don't need another man.
That's why you got a new
Okay,
vacuum,
well,
because you make all that money, and you had to have a new vacuum because the one that we saw downstairs wasn't good enough. And why did you, when you buy a vacuum, buy carpet cleaner with the vacuum?
Well, I'll tell you. If you saw the condo, you could see there's new carpet. We had been renovating a lot. My husband died. He had $125,000 life insurance policy. I split it 3 ways with my son. Jason put it into a landscaping business in a truck. Ramsay was fixing up his condo. Ramsay spilled blue paint in the living room of his condo.
So you think carpet cleaner's going to get paint out of a carpet?
Sir, we were trying, and it was not.
Or was it red paint? Because
No,
it was
sir,
over red
wait a
spots.
minute. It was blue. No, we're talking in the living room. We're not talking in Ramsay's bedroom.
Okay.
And it was not the. There is a paint that's real hard to get up. There's another one that you can wash. Irregardless, he shampooed the carpet. Irregardless. I don't have to justify why we bought a vacuum. We needed it.
No. I'd say it's premeditation. You have a chance to justify it or to rationalize it. This is your chance. If you don't, then I'm just going to continue to...
We did. We bought a new vacuum, and he wanted one that would help the new carpet.
What was all that stuff on the bottom of the vacuum that we saw in those photos? Is that the carpet cleaner?
I don't know. I'm wondering myself why you guys didn't take and examine that. But I believe it was baking soda.
Huh.
I'm not sure.
Baking soda get out blood? Because that must be something interesting this other guy knew. Because this other guy, you heard from the Michigan State Police exam tech people that somebody attempted to clean up that blood. So I guess the guy that lived in your house for 5 days knew that you had bought the carpet cleaner and the new vacuum, and he knew how to use it and how to try to remove blood stains. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Yeah.
that's not
So
what I'm saying. That's what you're saying.
okay, that's my question. Is that what you're saying to this jury?
No, so I'm saying
Oh.
we bought a vacuum, and I guess he used it. I'm saying we bought a vacuum earlier in the month.
Discuss the, what are the rails on your bed like?
They're bed rail. It's just a normal bed.
I mean, where are they located? I mean,
When you walk in my bedroom, the bed is right there.
correct?
Right.
And you said you got handcuffed to the bed rails.
Okay. All right, I see what you're saying. So there's a bed rail here, 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 and here, right here.
Okay. Rails, not frame, rails.
Down by where the rail was, if you would. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, let me show you a photo.
Mr. Cataldo, could you describe for the record as best you can what the witness was indicating when she went here, here, here,
I'm
and
sorry.
here?
So when you say here, it looks like there are posts on each corner, right? Is that what you're...
Yeah, each corner of the bed.
Okay. All right. Let me show you people. So what's my next one? People's code 148. I ask if you recognize what's in that photograph.
My bed.
Okay. At this time, I would move for the introduction of People's 148.
Mr. Haddad?
No objection, Your Honor. She's identified as her bed.
Publicize, please.
All right, will be received.
Where are the posts?
Okay.
Keep your voice up.
Down to the floor. Got
So it's really not a post, you're talking about wheels or something.
Yes.
So it's not a post, it's a frame, because I don't see any posts on this bed.
No,
No.
I didn't say that.
So just semantics between you and me, right? But did you feel bad at all donating that blazer with your son's blood just soaked all over it?
I didn't have a choice. No.
You what?
I did not have a choice.
Okay. And I thought the handcuffs thing was cute also. Were these like S&M handcuffs? I mean, because
I have no clue.
because the handcuffs with little cushions on the inside, little fur, so there wouldn't be any marks on your wrist all night?
I said red and black with cushions. They were weird.
But he released you during the day.
I was not released unless he handed me the phone or wanted me to do something.
Except that Wednesday night when you were with your whole family.
Sir, I went over there 2 nights. Tuesday night and Wednesday night. And he told me, go do what you normally do. Don't make any mistakes.
Okay. No. I've heard enough of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Haddad?
Thank you, Jim. Mrs. Scrivo, it's been intimated that this week in this courtroom is the first time you've told this story about the masked intruder killing your son.
No.
Is that so?
No. I gave
Have you told this story before?
Yes.
Do you remember the first time the details began to come out?
You heard the phone call from my sister. Kind of rambled, but you heard it.
That was a phone call while you were still in custody?
Yes.
Did you also indicate to... you were hospitalized shortly after your arrest, were you not?
Yes. I started having those chest pains and shortness of breath. And I was on a thinking holding pill. And they took me in. It was not cardiac related. I don't know. But it was a bad urinary tract infection, and I was there 2 days on IV antibiotic or 7. Then I went back to Macomb County Jail. February 2nd. And that's all it was for 8 months.
Do you remember being at St. John Hospital on February 2nd?
Yes.
Do you remember having what you now know were hallucinations?
Yes.
Do you remember having a discussion about this masked person with a police officer who was there guarding your room?
Yes.
Do you remember do you remember discussing the facts with another mental health care professional?
In Macomb County Jail.
And you disclosed this information back then?
Yes.
And what was the time frame?
When I got there. When I got back to...
For the jury won't know, ma'am. Give me a month and a year.
It's the first week in February. I think I talked to Dr. Haig, H-A-G-E. That was the 3rd. I didn't talk to him the first day I got back.
And did you essentially tell that doctor what you told us this morning?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Catala?
No, sir.
All right, ma'am, you may step down.
I also gave my first attorney a whole timeline.
Excuse me, Judge, there's no
Sorry.
question.
There is no question. That statement will be stricken.
All right.
You may step down. Ladies and gentlemen, retire to the jury room. Do not leave the jury room. Mr. Haddad, on Friday you raised an issue that you were perhaps intending to call a St. Clair Shores police officer with respect to a prior consistent statement. Is that still your intention?
I am, Your Honor, but for the record, I would indicate that not only will the anticipated testimony be non-hearsay as a prior consistent statement. If the court disagrees and finds that it is hearsay, I would offer it under an exception commonly known as the present sense impression of the declarant under MRE 803, parent 1.
Well, Mr. Cataldo had objected on Friday. What exactly is the prior consistent statement you seek to offer?
According to the official St. Clair Shores police report, an officer writes, while I was uncuffing Scrivo from the bed so she could use the restroom located in the hospital room, she asked me to stand in front of a little man staring at her, and there's a parenthetical note. There was no one behind me. End the parenthetical. Continuing on, as I was escorting her into the bathroom, she said, quote, "That little man in black looked just like the one that killed my son," end quote.
So how is that a prior consistent statement? You're saying that's consistent with her testimony during trial that some individual killed her son?
I believe it is consistent with her testimony at trial, and therefore it would be by definition not hearsay, but should the court take a different view...
Well, let's deal with that first, though, Mr. Haddad, before you make an argument in the alternative. MRE 801D 1B that you're seeking to introduce this testimony under is generally used when there's a charge of recent fabrication. Is that what you are alleging here?
I'm hearing from the other side of the bench, Your Honor, that there is a charge that she's fabricated.
All right. Case law clearly holds that when you seek to introduce a statement pursuant to that particular rule of evidence, it must be shown that the statement was, the prior consistent statement was made before there was any motive to fabricate. So this statement is made after there's a motive to fabricate, as she's already in custody. So how do you get around the United States Supreme Court case of Toney versus U.S. and Michigan law, People versus Rodriguez and People versus Fisher, that require that condition, that the statement must be made before there's a motive to fabricate?
I'm not prepared to say that there is a motive to fabricate, and if there is, I'm not prepared to say when it was formulated. The rule itself... All
right, so what you're seeking to introduce is not in compliance with MRE 801, and your request, your offer of proof with respect to that is denied. Now let's move to your alternative argument.
In that case, Your Honor, I would rely on MRE 803, parenthetical 1, present sense impression, is an exception to the hearsay rule. A statement describing or explaining an event or condition made while the declarant was perceiving the event or condition, or immediately thereafter. In this situation, we have a police officer hearing a statement by the declarant, Mrs. Scrivo, while she was perceiving that there was a little man in the room. She's had no time to think about it. She's had no time to fabricate it. She describes the event as she perceives it. That is her present, at that time, sense impression. So So I believe it comes in under 803 parenthetical 1.
Mr. Cataldo?
Well, the person that's also there has to be sensing whatever this event is. This is no event. This is a statement that she makes, bald face, straight out. If the officer is an officer of proof, you just simply say, I was there. All of a sudden, she makes these two statements. In that context, it's strictly, as we were before, hearsay. And it's not, I don't know what's going on in her head, but there is nothing else happening. Therefore, it's just simply another way to try to say, she made these statements, I'm trying to get these statements in, when it's clear there's no incident, there's nothing going on around for everyone to experience, which is really what the basis of that rule is.
And it relates to a description of an event made while perceiving it. She's offering an exculpatory statement well after the event. So her statement in the hotel room is not a description of a present sense that she's having at the time. She's not describing an event that's occurring. She's talking about something that occurred before, and in fact is really a self-serving exculpatory statement. Court's of the opinion that that's not admissible. It is hearsay. Won't be allowed.
Very well.
All right. Do you still intend to call the officer?
I would not call the officer in the face of the court's ruling.
Okay.
I've just preserved that offer of proof for another time.
Very good. Do you have any other witnesses?
I do not. The defense will rest.
All right. Let's call the other unrelated matter, Madam Clerk.
Just to also complete this, people have no rebuttal witnesses here.
Very good. Thank you.
Can I escort her out for now, Judge?
No.
Or we're going to continue?
No. We're going to continue. Go ahead, Sandy, with the motion.
Secmeister versus Green Valley.
Good, Your Honor.
Your
Ready,
appearance.
For the West Confident and Clint Amber Secmeister. Jeremy Moore on behalf of the defendant.
Go ahead.
Judge, this is our motion to adjourn the scheduling order.
Has it been adjourned in the past?
Not by us, Judge. The previous counsel withdrew in this matter, and we are trying to conduct some discovery. I don't believe there's any previous adjournment. I don't want to say for certain.
You don't?
I have no idea, Your Honor. All I can tell you is that the case evaluation hearing is scheduled for June 8th. We have no objections to their motion to adjourn. My function at the bill for the adjournment would be.
Well, there's really no adjournment fee per se, but if case evaluation is rescheduled, you have to pay, each party has to pay another fee. You willing to pay the fee for both sides?
We'll pay the fee, Judge.
All right, your motion's granted. How much time are you asking for?
60 days, Judge.
All right, you got it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, bring the jurors back out. Mr. Haddad.
The defense will rest, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Cataldo?
No rebuttal witnesses, Your Honor. We're done.
All right, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we're going to break for lunch. Be back by 1:15. Do not talk about the case with anyone, including amongst yourselves. Do not read, view, or listen listen to any media reports concerning this case. Dad, have a pleasant lunch.
There you go. One circle. All rise to the jury, please. What time, Judge?
1:15. You may be seated. Gentlemen, somebody left a set of jury instructions on the bench last week. It says proposed on the top of it. Have you met and agreed to these jury instructions?
I would indicate I have reviewed them again this morning, and the facts that you have, short of taking out the defendant not testifying, people are satisfied that that's a complete set. If there are requests that Mr. Haddad makes, we'll certainly make certain to discuss them and get
I did
copies.
likewise, Your Honor. I agree that 3.3 needs to be removed, defendant not testifying. There is one missing, 5.8A, character witnesses needs to be included.
All right. I will return this proposed draft that you gave me, Mr. Cataldo. Please, the two of you confer, make those changes. Make sure you have a set for the court and one extra set for the jurors to take back with them. So there are no issues that